grab a pen and paper and we'll make this as simple as possible. If you have your phone, that's fine, but a pen and paper is better. So write down this framework, right? Number 1, list out all the obstacles in your life. Everything that's getting in the way of your happiness and the life you want, list them out. So maybe you have no time to exercise because of work and family. The weather might be too cold and wet. It could be a lack of education growing up. It might be that your parents never helped you. Your boss could be a prick. Your co-workers might be bullies. You might have a vindictive, horrible ex that's making your life miserable. It could be the government. It could be the taxes and the cost of living are too high. You could be too fat. You could be too skinny. You could be too tall. You could be too short. I don't know what's on your list. Whatever's on it, read it out. Step number 2, take full ownership of everything on your list. So take a look at your role in it. The example I used from earlier, getting punched in the face. Now that wasn't your fault, but would it have happened if you were at home in bed? Maybe getting ready for a hard workout in the morning instead of being in the pub. Who knows? Nothing wrong with the pub, but you could have been doing something else. If the issue is time, like I said earlier, you can blame that all you want, but that's a you problem, right? Have a look at where you can use your time better. If your ex, who you share a child with, is making your life a misery, ask yourself if there's anything you could do differently to make life easier. You might have to swallow your pride, or you might have to call the guards and get them locked up for good. Maybe that's the responsibility you're not taking. Like, they're not going to change or fix it. You must do it. We should always examine our own part first before we look at anyone else. And it's not about taking the blame, like I said earlier. It's not about whose fault it is or whose blame it is. It's just about learning for the future and getting better so you can move the fuck on with your life. So that was step number 2, take full ownership of everything on your list. Step number 3, figure out how you're going to fix it. Right? What needs to happen right away? Right now you're not as fit as you want to be. Why is that? Maybe you're not happy in your career. What's your role in it and how can you fix it? What adjustments can you make right away to get out of your own way? Whatever you've been blaming and complaining about the most, I'd start there. But do the work, start learning and wanting to get better. So step 3, figure out how you're going to fix it. Step 4, find someone in your life who has already achieved the thing you want and follow their blueprint. If you don't know someone personally, like I didn't, have a look online. I didn't know anyone in my life that had the things I wanted, so I had a look online. Reach out to them, ask questions. I wish I'd have done that more, but people love answering questions online. It's fucking great helping people. I love it. Reach out, ask them all the questions you have. If you need help from others, ask for it. Taking responsibility, it's not about going it alone. Right? Asking for help is not being weak, it's refusing to give up. So ask for the help, you don't need to go it alone. But it is your responsibility to get that help and take ownership of how things play out afterwards. Don't ask someone for advice and then blame them when things don't work out. Right? You were the one that acted on the advice, you took the advice, so take responsibility for what happens. Can you see what I'm getting at now with full ownership? It's across the board. And if you need hands-on guidance, hire someone to help you. That usually saves you a lot of time and heartache, but that mightn't be an option and that's fine. I couldn't afford to hire someone, but it will cut your learning and your mistakes in half. And a bonus tip for you, but even with all the best intentions in the world, you can't know what you don't know. As Jim Rohn again, who I referenced earlier, said, if you motivate an idiot, then all you've got is a motivated idiot. Right? You need to know how to get the thing and you can't know what you don't know. And to some extent, just being yourself won't cut it, right? I've always found that advice to be a bit dodgy, right? Just be yourself. If I was just being myself back in the day, I wouldn't have gone back to school, I wouldn't have quit drinking, I wouldn't have done the Ironman training, none of it, because just being myself was fucking lazy, entitled prick, right? Like you have to push yourself past yourself and you have to become someone new if what you desire is meaningful and life-changing. And so whatever your goals are, you must become the person before you're the person. Does that make sense? But you have to be that person before you're the person. You have to adopt the habits, the behaviours before you actually become the person. Like you don't go off and, run a marathon and then afterwards get fit. Same with fat loss. And you don't lose the body fat and then become healthy. So how can we do this, right? Picture a person in your head who has the things you want. You can make them up or you can use a real life example. I like to use real life examples. Just make sure whoever you're looking at that you're living according to your own values. Don't do stuff because someone else is doing it and it looks good, but it's not really something that's in alignment with who you are and who you want to be. Because there's no point achieving your dreams if you can't stand the person looking back in the mirror afterwards. But this really helps because whenever you face decisions, you can ask yourself, what would this person do in this situation? Would they order the takeaway, or would they have the home cooked meal? Would they go back to bed because it's too cold outside, or would they go out for the run? Like, how would they handle this situation? Would they panic, or would they keep a cool head? Like, would they stay an hour late to finish the project, or would they go home on time and not finish it? I'd like to delve deeper into this and get really vivid with this person I want to be. How do they treat people? How do they carry themselves? How are they looking after their health? What are they reading? What are their interests? Who do they associate with? Who do they avoid? Don't get me wrong, you're not copying everything they're doing and being someone you're not. What you're doing is you're looking for clues and answers. You're asking questions like this because it will tell you where you're going right and where you're going wrong. Now, for some reason, we believe that good behaviour should come naturally to us, but that's kind of stupid, really. Right? You can't know, like I said earlier, what you don't know. And you'll never get anywhere relying on that kind of approach, just hoping things will work out for you and you'll somehow just become a different person overnight. Have a look at people who are successful in your field of interest and do more of what they're doing. Also look at what they're not doing and use that to cut out some of your shitty behaviours. But that's a simple framework to get your mindset squared away so that you can actually tackle any challenge and win. And that framework was number 1, list out all the obstacles in your life, write it down. Number 2, take full ownership of everything on the list. What was your role in it? How can you fix it? Step 3, figure out how you're going to fix it. Step 4, find someone in your life who has already achieved the thing you want and follow their blueprint. Step 5, become the person before you're the person. Don't wait for some kind of transformation or anything to happen. Don't wait for permission off anyone. You need to become the person today. You need to be that person before you actually become the person.